Okay, verse 18. There is this description, important description of the woman. What does it mean? Ano yung sinulat niya? The woman is the great city which reigns over the kings of the earth. So the woman is a city. Alright? I don't understand. Okay? And what would be the name of that great city kaya?
Babylon.
Alright? Babylon. Okay? Bakit? Why Babylon? Where is Babylon today? Is it Iraq? Okay. Will Babylon be having an important role in the future? We'll see. We'll see. Okay. By the way, ISIS is from where? Iraq. Alright. I'm not saying Babylon is ISIS, but I'm saying that Iraq, Babylon will have an important part. Diba? Everyday na lang news nyo, ISIS what, diba? Everywhere. Okay, Middle East will be the center of the end time. And we see it already. Okay? Let's go to chapter 18. Okay? So, 18 again is another chapter devoted to this woman Babylon. Alright? Pero ano yung nangyayari sa kanya in chapter 18? It's quite similar to 17, but it is also may kaibahan, isn't it? Anong kaibahan? What are the things that you see different? Or similar? Similar muna. What's similar between chapter 17 and 18? Alright, very good. It also talks about immorality, isn't it? And it also talks about the fall, the destruction of Babylon. But here, it tells us that it will be done for how long?
For an hour.
Only for an hour. In other words, it will be a quick destruction. Correct? Alright? And then in verse 2. Okay. And in verse 2, the angel says what? Fallen! Fallen is Babylon the Great. And what will happen to this great city? It will become a dwelling place of demons and unclean spirit and unclean and hateful birds. In other words, it becomes desolate. Alright? Why? Why will Babylon be judged? Verse 3. For. Every time you see words like for, therefore, mark it. Because it tells you reasoning. Alright? Bakit he destroy Babylon? For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the passion of her immorality. Diyan na naman tayo, di ba? So, and the kings of the earth have committed acts of immorality with her. And then an bago. The merchants of the earth have become rich by the wealth of her sensuality. Remember the description of the Babylon? She's wealthy, affluent, di ba? And the merchants became wealthy because of her. Okay? When I drew this part, I drew a Chinese trader. Not cheaper. Kasi di ba yun yung merchants? Okay? Now, I don't know what to draw na eh. Okay? So I drew a Chinese trader. And then in verse 4. In verse 4, the angel, another angel, a voice from heaven, saying what? Come out of her. Okay? Come out of her. Come out of Babylon. Diba? Her is Babylon, my people. That you may not participate in her sins, and that you may not receive of her sins. Okay? If Babylon represents immorality, if Babylon represents blasphemy, God is saying, come out of there, my people. Alright? It's the same call for us. Let's come out from sinfulness. Let's come out from immorality. Let's come out from unrighteousness. Alright? All Christians should, the people of God should come out from her, from Babylon. And then in verse 5, why? Why is God going to judge her? For her sins have piled up as high as heaven. Okay? God has remembered her iniquities. Okay? If you are a very observant observer, alright, Babylon's sins have piled up as high as Heaven. Does it remind you of something? The Tower of Babylon. Alright, it has raised up as high as heaven. Tower of what? Babylon. What is this woman called?
Babylon.
Okay, think about it. Are they related? Alright? Remember, Revelation is the last book. Tower of Babylon is found where? Genesis. Okay, what is God doing now? Is he now tying the okay? Very interesting, alright? So, pati pa, okay? But we will find it out. Okay? So, verse 6. Pay her back, even as she has paid, and give back to her double according to her deeds in the cup which she has mixed. Mix twice as much for her. So, doble ang punishment niya. Okay? So, we see that. I will not go into much details because I just want to point out in verse 18, in chapter 18, there are people who were mourning for her loss, for her destruction. Sino yung mga nagmo-mourn?
The merchants.
The merchants. Okay? The merchants. Why? No business. Wala na. Okay? So, ano kaya nakikita niyo dito? What could Babylon represent? Okay, those are the things that you think. Merchants, trade will be gone. Okay, when she's gone. And then, what else? Who else will be mourning? For 1 hour judgment has come. Sino pa? The kings will be mourning, correct? And then the ship master in verse 17, yung mga may-ari ng mga works line, yung mga goto, yung mga appointees, yung mga ship master. Alright? Sige, yun yung business nila eh. And verse 17, every ship master, every passenger and sailor, as many as made their living by the sea, pati pala mga Royal Caribbean kasali, okay, stood at a distance, but they were crying out because of the burning, the destruction of this great ark. Okay? Alright? So what do you feel when it reads, when you come to chapter 18, it talks about what? About the woman. It's more about her what?
Judgment.
Her judgment in 1 hour. Pero ano yung flavor?
Destruction.
Business, di ba? It talks about business. Di ba? Kaya naiiyak yung mga merchants, yung mga sailors, yung mga nawawala na yung mga cargoes, they cannot sell anymore. Correct? While in chapter 17, it talks more about what? Ano pong inulit na word?
Morality.
Morality. Correct? Alright? So, I'll just leave you with that. Think about it. Okay? Who is this woman? Okay? That will be destroyed. Alright? Verse 20. While this woman is being destroyed on earth, what is happening in heaven? Rejoicing in heaven. Why? Why? What's the reason? Okay, because God has pronounced judgment for you saints, apostles, and prophets against her. Okay? And then, so, this is chapter 18. Okay? The fall of Babylon in 1 hour. Babylon, in verse 21, there is this drama. The angel